Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel. As I want to discuss the very vibrant, surprising, disruptive energy of this Mars in Gemini conjunct Uranus and the activations that are happening July 3rd, 4th, 5th, and into the rest of July. I'm recording this on July 3rd, and so this energy is currently very active right now. So heads up, this could be one of those videos where I just start talking faster, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of movement here, and I think it's worth discussing these energies and this conjunction through an empowered high frequency perspective. Because if you've been following the astrology here, there's been a lot going on with this Mars conjunct Uranus in Gemini that has resulted in some worst case scenarios, some people stirring up potentials that are more fear-based, that are more traumatic. And of course, there are shocking energies in play here, no doubt about it. But we also have both of these planets in Gemini ruled by Mercury retrograde at 25 degrees of Cancer, which is also important for how this energy is being felt and experienced. Because it's Mercury retrograde, there will be major delays. There can be systems that are down, communication systems that are not performing or have some disruptions or distortions that are felt and affect the masses. This also would affect transportation, whether that is bus systems, metros, subways, the airlines, any kind of mass transit system and transportation system could feel the effects over this weekend of these energies. And so this simply means have a plan B, have another option, remain flexible, remain adaptable, and be sure to monitor and regulate your emotional responses and reactions, especially because that Mercury retrograde in Cancer can hold things in, can be feeling a lot, and doesn't let it out perhaps in the best possible ways at first, and then all of a sudden there's a strong response or strong reaction. So be aware of all of that. Be mindful of these big energies in play. But let's elevate this and discuss it from a higher perspective around how this energy can work for you and with you, how you can be aware of what is changing for you over the course of July 3rd, 4th, 5th into next week, so that you can be actively participating in the shifts that are occurring, especially from that high frequency standpoint. Now, by high frequency, I mean there is something here that you could feel you're breaking out of, you're breaking free. I'm sensing it as a mental freedom with this Mars conjunct Uranus in Gemini. And maybe you're sensing that you're seeing something in a whole new way. Gemini is the mind. It's what you think about, perceive, contemplate. It's what spins in your head. And in Gemini, it can go back and forth between left brain and right brain. It can be the energy of collecting a lot more information, like seeking out more to a story. Tell me more. What else do I not know? What else can I understand? And the mind can be spinning very quickly in this energy field here to the point of exhaustion and fatigue. This can even be decision-making fatigue, sort of like I don't know what to do or I don't know what to think. And here comes this Mars. And Mars is a trigger, a catalyst that wants to set you free, wants you to open up to the higher consciousness of this Uranus, which can remind you that multiple scenarios, multiple things can be working in your favor, even if you can't see it in the day-to-day or right in front of you. Gemini is what's right in front of you. The information, the stories, the conversations, the communications that are happening right now in your present reality. But this conjunction could free you from those limitations and expand you into a bigger story or higher narrative that you've been disconnected from. And here comes Mars, a personal planet associated with action, movement, self-assertion, associated with the body, your personal nervous system, and bringing a rewiring here, bringing in something new that can be energizing as well as shocking. It's like being hit by lightning, and I'm feeling and seeing this in a good way, because even though this is jolting influences and there's something of a higher frequency that this Mars is feeling, there is support here as this Mars is sextiling Neptune at 4 degrees of Aries, preparing to station retrograde July 7th, and also, more importantly, trining this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 4 degrees. There is something highly beneficial occurring for this Mars. And it's happening in a jolting, surprising, disruptive way. It shakes up a timeline and a storyline. It is a freedom that is meant to elevate you to a higher perspective that maybe you lost track of. And it's connecting you with some new dreams you want to create in your life. And it's very empowered to face fears that have been running through the mind, because this Pluto in Aquarius is also in an air sign here that is, it's reprogramming and transforming a story that Mars can't take any further. It's a jolting insight. It's a cycle breaker, a pattern breaker. It's disrupting the mental loops. And also in the mix here is how Mars and Uranus and Gemini are squaring this north node in Pisces, which means the south node is in Virgo. It's not pictured here on this chart. And then we can see that the moon is moving through the early degrees of Pisces. There's messages coming through in your dream state that are revealing openings that the mind hasn't contemplated yet. And it's actually even stirring up mental fears, mental worry, stress, worst case scenarios, almost like making the wrong choice or moving in the wrong direction. And I'm feeling like there is this overlay of higher energies coming in and coming through that's being personally felt. And there's a transition happening here away from karmic patterns and a comfort zone, away from the everyday decisions that you've made. But this is bigger, life-changing stuff. Like, this isn't just ordering something new off the menu. This is going to a whole new restaurant that you've never been to before and feeling excited about it, feeling ready for a life change. And the readiness is felt in the body. And that's because this Mars is physically feeling a new surge of downloads and energy streaming through that is quite vibrant, almost feeling different in your body, feeling that your nervous system is operating. Okay, interesting. I'm hearing operating with a new signal to the universe, like working with a new bandwidth, a new, it's a frequency. change. So it's moving from AM to FM to Bluetooth, or it's moving into a new way of being in the world and moving ahead. And there's a confidence here. Mars is feeling more confident after this lightning bolt shocking awareness. And he's connecting with a new dream in his life. And it feels empowered, strong, and determined. Mars trining this Pluto is a big deal because it means that whatever has been really intense, contentious, and uncomfortable over the past few years especially is smoothing out into a new self-directed choice. And that's because this Mars was in that ongoing opposition to Pluto. The opposition that happened 3 times in both the Capricorn Cancer energies and then the early degrees of Aquarius and Leo. You were fighting something that was life-changing. It would have been really difficult. You couldn't move through it faster. It was emotional, personal, intense. It changed you at a core level. It required you to dig deeper. And now there is a new life path presenting itself, a new direction here that is supported, strong, and different. And I just feel like this is such a promising new beginning and a promising new start that can be hard to trust, that could be hard to believe in, but something is moving you ahead that's bigger than you. It's almost like now it feels like the universe is on your side. And that could be hard to trust at first because of how contentious the energies were previously with this Mars opposing Pluto. Like you had to go to battle, or there was a spiritual warfare, or there was something that was deeply impacting your will, your ability to stand in your strength. It's interesting because I'm feeling like that was actually a compressed timeline of energies where even though it was 2 years, which can feel like a long time, it's like I'm getting the visual of that 2 years represented 2 decades in another lifetime or another timeline. And whatever you were battling was actually a compressed energy field that moved you through something quickly. So it didn't have to be 20 years in this lifetime. It was meant to be something where you shifted, transformed, and learned faster, even though it didn't feel like that. And then now the energy, I'm seeing the energy has expanded out to be more open. Okay, just a second. This can be tricky for me to like explain as I'm capturing it, as all the downloads are coming in. Okay, and now I'm seeing it as, we'll call it a reverse effect, where previously that Mars was in battle under a compressed timeline. Now that timeline has expanded and opened up, it's decompressed, and that is providing the power, strength, and new mental freedom to move ahead to a new dream that you've been thinking about. It's interesting because this is more than just thoughts. This is action now. This is movement. Feeling more certain, okay? Feeling mentally clear, mentally certain. Again, that trine to Pluto is important. There's something new that could be locking in. there is a connection to a dream, ideal, and hopefulness based on a new personal beginning. There could be something you're truly ready to do differently now. And there is more certainty that you're sensing around moving ahead in this direction, choice, decision. And you know it's affecting all of your life. It's going to change or affect your lifestyle, your personal world. That's because Mars is working with the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, as we've been discussing. And there's something here that's surging forward. It could feel undeniable. Like what you have to do, Mars, is undeniable. It's clear. Mars is associated with masculine energy. It's associated with how you go for what you want, how you move forward based on personal desires. And this is feeling like we're being set free from old thought patterns that have been stuck in previous cycles. And I'm feeling that continues through July, like a sense of mental freedom because of how this Uranus in Gemini is going to remain in a square to the nodes of fate. Again, that south node in Virgo is not here, but it's not on the chart, but it's at 2 degrees of Virgo. And it means that old ways of limiting ourselves, needing something to be perfect, expecting it to be a certain way, holding ourselves back. It's that limitation, hesitation, self-doubt that's clearing out. And Mars is like, I don't want to do that anymore. Life is now. Life is now. Life is happening and I'm fully in it. I'm in the game. I'm working with what I want. I want a new start. I want a new dream. I want to be creating the life that matters to me. And I feel there's also this interesting concept of time because there's a sense of now we're in July. And what have I learned over the first half of this calendar year that is actually now propelling me forward to make the most of every day, to be more certain in my choices, in what I want, to go for it. And I feel too like, again, this Mars is being jolted alive. He's kind of like, what am I doing sitting on the sidelines? Like, I'm an active player in this game. I'm an active participant. Like I want to be like on the field. I don't know why I'm doing all these sports analogies, but here we are. I want to be participating in an active role. And you might notice what has been holding you back has been internal, has been your own thoughts about your own capabilities. And it's been deeply rooted in previous experiences. And that's where the mental freedom is now happening, that you're breaking free from old thought patterns and you're actually getting new information about yourself, about your own potentials, the new dreams that are gaining momentum, the new connections to your power, and feeling like I want to be lined up with my highest possible future. Why would I hold myself back from that? Why would I not choose that? And so this could be an internal conversation that you're having with yourself. You know, when you talk to yourself as you wander around the house, and then you're asking the questions and getting your own answers, but it's happening quickly. And there's a shift that happens quickly. and it spurs you forward. And so as Mars moves forward, Mars is then going to have in Gemini a sextile to this Saturn, which is hanging out at 14 degrees of Aries. Saturn will be stationing retrograde July 26th. So keep in mind that both these planets in Aries, Neptune and Saturn, in the sign of new beginnings, a new life start, new desires that you're putting energy into, that you're working for. They both station retrograde here in July. And they're holding the energy field of the new dream, the new beginnings that you want. Asking you to check in on how's that going? Are you still committed? Are you working towards it? Are you holding faith? Are you allowing old parts of your self-identity to dissolve so that you can be reborn and rebirthed here in a reality that aligns with the dreams you want next? And then here comes this Mars in Gemini, as you can see at 4 degrees, sextiling this Neptune. Mars is saying, yes, this is what I want. I have new mental clarity and understanding around my choices. And then again, as Mars moves forward and gets to that 14 degrees of Gemini, it will have a sextile to Saturn. And Saturn is the reality check of what you're really doing to make it happen, what you're really saying, thinking, communicating, what you're really expressing that aligns with the new starts of 2026. So in your own chart, wherever this Mars in Gemini is where areas of your life are being revved up and you're having new thoughts and understandings of your choices, of what am I choosing that's actually aligned with this new beginning that I want. And the thing about this new beginning is that it's not happening quickly yet, but this is the energy of a catapult, of moving something ahead, especially here in July. And this is also the energy of the very rare, important astrological alignment that's happening July 18th to 23rd at 4 degrees of each sign. And so there's something that this Mars is activating now that plays out throughout July. And this Mars is getting your mind on board. Your mind is in a higher perspective. So these could be like fast moving decisions. This is a plot twist. This is a conversation that changes things. Just to be incredibly vague. It's like something changes in a conversation for good or for bad. But in this energy, I feel like it's win-win. It's all for good because now you're making a clear choice and the universe is supporting that clear choice. What would hold you back is indecision, self-doubt, or hesitation. That I think this Mars is just impatient now. It's just, I'm over this. I'm over being indecisive, or I'm over just watching. Like, I'm ready to get in the game. But it even could be like playing a different game or changing jerseys or doing something in a whole other way that shifts you out of the old and into the new. And so it's, again, these early degrees of Gemini that are really active right now for all of us. So we have to remain mindful of what we're saying and how we're saying it. And that's really important with this energy. But the most important thing is that you say it. So now is the time to say it. And that's what this energy is stirring up and bringing up, which means there could also be a lot of chatter, a lot of communications, a lot of excess conversations. But there could also be some very clear understandings of what needs to be expressed and why. And to do it with kindness. to be aware of the other person's feelings or of your own feelings or whatever's going on, right, in your own world. That's this Mercury retrograde in Cancer, is that you take a beat to consider how it's felt and experienced on the other side. So that could be something you experience too, is that now there's things you're ready to say and to not hold back, or to think that it's going to be a worst case scenario, because this is a pattern breaker, a cycle breaker, pattern breaker that affects the new choices you want. And again, that could just be internal as well, where you're now forming a new story or a new internal narrative around something. So a lot of buzzy energy here, very vibrant, very active, last minute plans, changes and decisions. There could be things that canceled, delayed, postponed with the Mercury retrograde that then lead you to another good choice or another option. And so there is more of the immediate energy here over the weekend. But what I want to bring your attention to is the bigger picture, changes that are unfolding since Mars is working with these 3 outer planets. And it's that bigger picture insight and change that could be something you're powerfully feeling without understanding why. And yet it feels encouraging, positive, uplifting. Again, that's moving forward with a new understanding of something and being very clear and certain in a choice and decision. So big energies here during this first weekend in July. It is the July 4th Independence holiday weekend here in the States, the 250th anniversary of the country. So that's a big deal. There's a lot of parades, shows, concerts, fireworks, celebrations all weekend long. A lot of people traveling, a lot of people both in the airports and on the roads. So all of that is certainly a part of all this increased activity. And then to have it occur during Mercury retrograde, you've probably heard, well, it's not a good weekend to travel, but it is what it is, right? So just ensure you're staying safe, you're making, the best possible decisions. But if you're in the States, I hope you have a great holiday weekend and celebrate however that is for you. And I'll be back with another video for you here soon.